I was thinking about this yesterday as the girls and I were decorating the Christmas tree and, getting set for Christmas, fresh off of Thanksgiving, all the family time that this time of year hopefully entails for you and your loved ones. I thought about the fact that former Kansas City Police Detective Eric DeValkenaere is still sitting in prison. And we are just over 2 weeks away from Christmas, and there's nothing to suggest that he is going to be home by Christmas. Despite the fact that there is a belief, and there has been a belief for a long time, that Missouri Governor Mike Parson was going to pardon the former KCPD detective, who, of course, was charged and ultimately convicted in the shooting of Cameron Lamb 5 years ago this past week here in Kansas City. Now, I won't relitigate the case right now, and, it's something we've obviously spent a lot of time on this show, but there's always been a question as to whether or not Cameron Lamb was armed. The media always says he was unarmed. However, the person who has switched the story, the roommate, quote, of Cameron Lamb, has changed that story around multiple times. It was only a couple of days before the trial that the state informed DeValkenaere that the roommate suddenly remembered that she saw a gun on the stairs when Cameron Lamb left. So that has been a sketchy part of the entire case and the entire trial. But it led to a conviction by a judge, and Eric DeValkenaere has been in prison for far too long now. Mike Kehoe, the incoming governor, has said that he will send Eric DeValkenaere home. Now, he hasn't made it clear on whether or not that would be a full pardon, whether he would commute the sentence. We don't know what exactly that means, but Mike Kehoe has said he would do that. But the general belief was that he wouldn't have to, because Governor Mike Parson would take care of it. So as I'm doing all this family stuff yesterday, I reached out to a couple of people who are more in the know in Jeff City, and I said, hey, what's going on with this? It's been a while, and I've been asked to talk about it, but I kind of have taken a hands-off approach and saying, I believe Mike Parson is going to do it, and frankly, I thought he would have done it by now. And somebody who really knows the inner workings of Jeff City and that office told me yesterday that Parson was going to do it when the weather got cold because he didn't want there to be riots on the streets of Kansas City or in Jeff City. So he was going to wait for the weather to really get cold, and then he was going to potentially likely pardon Eric DeValkenaere. But this individual admitted to me that part of the problem right now, or part of the concern right now, is that it's been cold. I know we've got a little warmer streak going here the last couple of days, but we certainly have had multiple blasts of cold throughout Missouri. And Parson still hasn't done it. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, okay, if we're waiting on a good weather forecast, well, it would have been great to do the day before Thanksgiving. There was a chance of snow on Saturday. Mid-Missouri got hit much harder than we did here in Kansas City on that Saturday after Thanksgiving. We got, maybe half an inch to an inch. Did you see that Mizzou game that day against Arkansas? They got smoked with the snow. So if you were like, all right, I'm worried about riots, well, the day before Thanksgiving would have been perfect. First off, no one's riding on Thanksgiving morning, unless you're riding because you have to go to your Aunt Karen's house later in the day and you start drinking mimosas at 7 a.m. No one's actually doing that. And then you had chilly weather coming in that weekend anyway. It would have been the perfect time to do it. So there is some angst from people who thought this pardon was going to happen 2 months ago, who now question whether or not it's going to happen. So it might ultimately come down to incoming Governor Mike Kehoe. Although I don't think that's the first thing he wants to do when he gets in office, but he might have to do it if Parson doesn't do it. I'm still holding out hope that Mike Parson will do the right thing. But we're all of what? About 50 days away from him leaving office, so time is definitely ticking. We'll see how it plays out.